Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now, Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready to go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.
This is Lesbian Detectives. I'm Sierra.
And I'm Elizabeth.
And we are here talking about missing and unsolved murders.
We are discussing cases that you have forgotten about or never even heard of.
So sit back, relax, and let's start this podcast. Welcome back, everybody. And I'm going to explain why I have a band-aid on my head. Guys, I got beautified this weekend and I got a wig done. I got my makeup, everything to the T because we were taking family pictures and also my birthday pictures. But for some reason, whatever the lady used on my head for the wig, it didn't work well for me. I got an allergic reaction and yeah, guys, it left a little mark on my head.
A little.
Yeah, it's bad. So, and I didn't get to wear the wig long. Like, I got it done Saturday, took it off Sunday, and I saw the mark. And I'm not going to show you guys the pictures. It's nasty. It's at its nasty stage of healing. And my wife was like, just put this on, put a head on. Guys, I'm having a day, okay? Like, it's been a week.
But at least you're off.
At least I'm off and like nobody can. Well, I work from home, so it doesn't really matter if nobody can see me. But I just started rocking a band-aid because I've been at home and with family and friends, so like they didn't matter. But when I go out in public and doing a recording, I'm like, y'all just can't see it. Like we ain't close there. We ain't close like that yet. But this case right here is actually a solved case. And the person who unalived this young lady, I'm shocked that my wife actually has not watched a documentary on this person. Well, you might have, and you probably haven't told me that you watched it, but we'll find out at the end. But I got so many people sending me this person case, and I'm like, I was going to do her for Halloween. But it was solved. And I kind of talked about it in the last episode, but I was saving her for Halloween. Now she's solved. I'm like, you know what? Let me go ahead and do her case. Favorite line. Now let's get into the episode. It was a night like any other in a quiet town. The air was fresh. The leaves rustled underfoot and the roads were alive with the sounds of Halloween. Laughter, footsteps, the faint rustles of costumes moving past dim streetlights. But in the shadows, something unseen waited. Something that had been patient. A girl stepped out that night. She had plans, friends nearby, a world that seemed safe. And then she vanished. No one saw her leave, and no one heard a struggle. Her footsteps disappeared into the darkness, and the town was left with a growing unease that they could not explain. At first, it was easy to hope. Perhaps she had stayed with friends. Perhaps she had wandered somewhere she shouldn't. Perhaps nothing had happened at all. But then days passed, and then weeks. Whisper began to spread. A town once confident in its safety started to feel the weight of fear. Questions multiplied, but answers were nowhere to be found. Where had she gone, and who had taken her, and why? The disappearance seemed random at first. Only later did investigators realize how carefully every detail had been arranged. The person responsible had planned this night with care, moving in the shadows, choosing the moment and the place, leaving behind only the questions that will haunt a community for decades. It was a disappearance that would puzzle law enforcement, shock the people who knew her, and leave a trail that crossed state lines. A mystery that will endure for more than 50 years until technology, patience, finally reveal the truth. Tonight, we unravel the story of a girl who stepped out into that night and was never seen again, and the darkness that followed her. This is the case of Laura Ann Aime. To understand what happened to Laura, you have to understand who she was. Laura was born on August 21st, 1957, in Utah. She was the fifth of 6 kids and grew up on a farm. She loved animals, being outside, and spending time with her family. She would go deer hunting with her dad, ride horses, and play sports like softball. People who knew her describe her as kind, funny, and easy to be around. She wasn't someone who caused problems. If anything, she was the type to make people laugh and keep things light. But her life wasn't perfect. She stood out physically. Laura was nearly 6 feet tall. She was bullied because of it. Eventually, she dropped out of high school at 17. Around the same time, things at home shift. Laura started spending more time away with friends instead of being at home. She had a pattern of leaving for days at a time, which would later affect how quickly people realized something was wrong. In the weeks leading up to her disappearance, Laura said some things that her family never forgot. She told them she believed she was going to die young. She even made a comment about her own funeral, asking not to be buried in a dress and requesting the song Seasons in the Sun be played. At the time, it may not have seemed like a warning, but looking back, it's hard to ignore. October 31st, 1974, Halloween night. 17-year-old Laura Ann Aime went to a party that evening. Nothing seemed unusual for a teenage girl in a small town. This was just another night. Friends, laughter, costumes, candy, and the kind of freedom that comes with being 17. Around 10 p.m., Laura decided to leave the party. She left with a friend who drove her to a short distance to a local bar in town. She went inside for a brief moment. We don't know who she spoke with or what she did there. That part of the night is a blank spot, one of those gaps that investigators could not completely fill. By 11 p.m., Laura left the bar alone. From there, she began walking towards Robinson Park. The walk would have taken roughly an hour. The air was chilly, around 45 degrees. Darkness had already fallen over the small town. No one saw her. No one heard anything. There was no report struggle. There was no eyewitness. Their walk, the last confirmed steps of her life, was the moment she vanished. To her family, Laura's disappearance didn't immediately set off alarm bells. She had a history of staying with her friends, sometimes for days. But when she missed a planned hunting trip with her father, the concern became fear. Something was wrong. Something was very wrong. Nearly a month later, on November 27, 1974, hikers in American Fort Canyon stumbled upon something that would change the course of the investigation. They found a body. Police were called immediately. Utah County Sheriff deputies respond, and when they arrived, they quickly realized the seriousness of the crime. The victim was a young woman, bound and beaten, laying on the canyon floor. She was also without clothing. Sheriff's investigators quickly tried to determine how long she had been there. Based on the condition of the body, they concluded she had been dead for roughly a week, meaning she had been abducted and possibly kept alive for days before her death. Investigators note the cruelty in the crime, the binding, the signs of restraint, and the injuries all pointed to a calculated abduction. This wasn't random. Whoever had done this knew exactly what they were doing. Early police reports described the scene as grim and methodical. Deputies also note that the victim had not been killed there where she was found, suggesting she had been transported. The location, a canyon off a remote highway, was chosen to make discovery less likely. At the time, officers weren't sure who the victim was. Identification took some time, but was soon confirmed to be Laura Ann Aime.
Police immediately began looking for connections. They considered other disappearances in Utah. Deborah Kent, who went missing earlier in November, and other young women who had recently been abducted or assaulted. Early on, detectives suspected a single perpetrator, someone familiar with the area and capable of luring young women alone. They noted the precision of the crime, the fact that she had been abducted on a public night like Halloween, and the disturbing evidence of her being restrained for days. It didn't take long for suspicion to fall on Ted Bundy. By 1974, Bundy was living in Utah, attending law school at the University of Utah. His pattern was already becoming clear. Young women, often alone, abducted from public spaces, restrained, and murdered. Laura's case fit the pattern perfectly. Other incidents in the area strengthened the link. In October 1974, 17-year-old Melissa Smith had been found dead after disappearing. In November, 19-year-old Carol DeRange had survived an abduction attempt. Bundy was eventually identified as her attacker. And then there was Deborah Kent, who disappeared and was never found. Bundy's method was consistent: charm, manipulation, planning. He could move among people without suspicion. He was intelligent, articulate, and capable of hiding the darkness beneath the surface. In 1975, Bundy's luck finally ran out. He was pulled over by Utah Highway Patrol while driving with his headlights off. A search of his car revealed a chilling collection: handcuffs, a ski mask, torn sheets, and an ice pick. Items that matched the tools used in abductions. Bundy was arrested and later convicted for kidnapping. But Laura's case remained officially unsolved. Bundy escaped custody twice in Colorado, once by climbing out of a courthouse window, then 6 months later by breaking through a jail ceiling. He eventually made his way to Florida, where he carried out the murders at the Chi Omega sorority house and the abduction of 12-year-old Kimberly Leach. Before his execution in January 1989, Bundy confessed to multiple murders across several states. He verbally acknowledged Laura's murder, but without physical evidence, police couldn't close her case. Her family waited over 50 years for confirmation. Her younger sister, Michelle Impala, was just 12 years old when Laura died. She remembers their childhood, riding horses, sharing a bedroom, feeding their horse licorice, the laughter, the warmth. That memory became both a comfort and a reminder of the loss. For decades, the family and investigators were left with suspicion, questions, and grief, but no official resolution. Then, in 2023, everything changed. Forensic technology had advanced to the point where old, degraded evidence could be re-examined. DNA that had once been impossible to analyze could now be extracted, even from samples containing multiple people or severely degraded over decades. Investigators went back to Laura's case. Evidence that had been carefully preserved for more than 40 years was analyzed using these new methods. It wasn't easy. The evidence was fragile. There were layers of mixed DNA, but the scientists were meticulous. And then finally, there was a match: Ted Bundy. In April 2026, the Utah County Sheriff's Office officially announced it. Laura Ann Aime's case was solved. Bundy had been the killer. "This case is officially closed," said Utah County Sheriff Mike Smith. It took more than half a century, decades of unanswered questions, careful preservation of evidence, and a new science to finally confirm what her family had long suspected. Laura Ann Aime was 17. She had a life full of love for animals, adventure, and the simple joys of growing up on a farm. She had a personality that drew people in and a kindness that lingered in the memories of those who loved her. Her story is a reminder of both the fragility of life and the persistence of justice, even decades later. Even though she's been gone for more than 50 years, Laura's memory lives on, and through new forensic technology and dedicated investigation, her family finally has the closure they deserved. Laura Ann Aime, 17 years old, taken too soon, remembered forever. Before we end this case, it's important to remember who Laura Ann Aime truly was. She was just 17 when her life was taken, but she was also a sister, a friend, and an animal lover, and a girl who brought laughter and warmth to everyone around her. For more than 50 years, her family carried the weight of unanswered questions, waiting for justice, hoping for closure, and while nothing can erase the pain of the loss, the truth has finally come to light. Her story reminds us to hold our loved ones close, to cherish every moment, and to never forget the lives behind the headlines. Laura's name will live on, not just in memory, but in the dedication of those who refuse to let her story be forgotten. To her family, her friends, and all the victims who can no longer speak for themselves, we remember you, we honor you, and we promise to keep telling your stories. Thank you for listening to this episode of Lesbian Detectives. May Laura's story reminds us that even in the darkest of crimes, truth and remembrance can shine through. This is the case of Laura Ann Aime.
Now let's get into our opinions. Opinion!
Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives. What type of thoughts you thinking? What theories running through your mind? I'm thinking all types of suspicion. Uncover the truth, what we can find. Witness say they saw somebody creeping out the back door. What you think they did it for? That's so crazy, I'm not sure. They found a car, where could she be? Here go another puzzle piece. Researching through your history. It's plenty unsolved mysteries. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories, yeah. Let's get into some theories. Let's get into some theories. Everyone is a suspect until proven guilty. Let's get into some theories. Lesbian detectives.
You or me?
Good.
One day you gonna go first. I mean, this case is solved. And it's just, I do have a question before we start our opinions. Have you ever saw a documentary about Ted?
No.
I'm so surprised because you watch a lot of documentaries about
Not really crime. Crime's more your thing.
I mean, yeah, but when it's on Netflix and stuff like that, you're like, you know what? Let me watch it. You usually do.
I think the only one that I've watched is Jeffrey Dahmer.
Yeah, it was a couple more. I forgot. It was like little killers. But I did actually watch a documentary on him. And it was like a long time ago. I remember Lifetime did one. I remember they did like his whole life, like the whole thing. And that was a while ago. But I just feel like Ted got away with a lot of his crimes. And police really didn't look at him because he was charming and he was, he was cute. Like, that's a lot of...
And he was a white man.
Yeah, he was a white man. And I think that's why a lot of the girls went with him willingly because of how he looked. I remember one girl, I forgot what show it was. She was like, I almost got abducted by a serial killer. And she was telling a story about how her and her sister almost got abducted by Ted. And she was like, we just didn't go. Like, they didn't go for a reason. I can't remember the show. It's going to bother me. But it was actually a good, I think it was on TLC, something like that. But it was good. Like, they was telling you, like, different people was going on how they almost got abducted or how almost got killed. Like, I almost got killed. Like, something like that. But it was a good show. And how she explained how he did his charm and how he, almost got them in the car with him. It is crazy. He really had charm. But with him, it seemed like, I don't know. I just feel like the police did fail a lot of the women so many times. Like, his later victims should not been unalive because when he got sent to jail and put in jail, how you telling me you lost this man twice? Twice that he escaped jail And then when he escaped, I feel like you like, you know what? This is probably gonna be the last time I escape jail. Let me go out with a bang, because he unalived a lot of people that we know of. It could be more out there why he escaped from jail. But I really don't want to talk a lot about Ted, because I feel like, he had a lot of attention. We should also remember about Laura, because she was just 17 years old. And it's sad that she had to drop out of school because she was getting bullied. And a lot of girls and boys are going through that now, that they're leaving school or they're like getting depressed because of getting bullied. So it's just sad that she did go through that, because she was a happy kid and she went down a dark path because getting bullied.
I don't know why Ted Bundy, I have to look at his documentary and kind of see more of the victims, but I don't know why he would attack minors. Why was he going after minors, young women? That's it, I mean, did something happen in his childhood that he's trying to, kind of take control by targeting a certain age group and demographic, I guess? But I don't know why he was affecting a certain age group. But back to the victim, Laura. She was 17. She went to a bar. I don't know if it was legal to drink
I don't.
at that time. And I know it was a different time as well, but walking by yourself after having a few drinks is not really like the best idea. I get that you're 17. A lot of people, when they're young, they think that, it's okay, or they don't really think the whole way through. But there's a lot of consequences that happen, especially when you've been drinking and it's late and you're by yourself. Like, that makes you a target. So I don't know how long he was like scoping them, or was he just chilling in the neighborhood, just waiting for somebody to walk by. But it almost does seem that he has a certain type of victim that he prefers.
I wonder if he was in a bar with her, probably like getting her drinks and stuff like that. I wonder, because just walking upon her on the road, that's, first of all, that's scary too for her. Just walk and then she get attacked. I wonder, because how charming he was, I wonder if he really was in the bar, buying her drinks or just even talking to her, because he was in law school. So he probably was like, chatting her up, and like, she's like, okay, I'm ready to go. He's like, okay, you know what? Let me walk you home. Because we don't, even the police said, we don't know what happened in that bar. We just know that she was leaving and she was walking to this park. Like, we don't know.
Right.
And it's, to us, it seemed like Laura was just, finding herself. So, like a normal teenager, it's just sad. I mean, back then, you gotta know, this is back in the 70s and 80s. The rules now and the rules then didn't exist. So, probably going to a bar back then that young, and it was the 70s though. Come on now, 70s about power and love and all that shit, man. There's a lot of stuff that happened in the 70s that, like sniff, cocaine, all that stuff happened back
But all
then.
that stuff is happening now.
Yeah, I mean, it's happening now, but I don't know. I just feel bad for Laura, but he, like you say, he did have victims that he did go for, and it just seemed he knew how to charm certain women.
Yeah.
And I just feel sad because she went missing. Her family, they just like, okay, like this is a normal thing. She's with her friends, and then her friends are like, she with her family. Like, no one got a good confirmation if she was still alive. And then the police said that he kept her alive for days. Just think about that. Your last couple of days on earth getting tortured by this man. Like, I'm about to pass away. And then for her to tell her family, like, yeah, I'm going to die young. Like, do not put me in a dress. Play this song at my funeral. And guys, when I heard that song, like, I don't think I can put it on the episode because I feel like I'll probably get flagged by YouTube. But after you get done, listen to this song. It is so sad. I cried a little bit because hearing that that's the song that she want to get played at her funeral, it just, But I do have a song I want to get played at my funeral too. If I Die Young, beautiful song. But I'm glad that Laura family do have the closure that they need. And I wonder, he did tell the police more names. I wonder if they ever look into those names that he did say. Because sometimes serial killers will tell police, like, yeah, I murdered all these people, here's the names, but they really didn't do it. But I wonder if they're like, okay, like, Laura case is solved, let us look into more cases that he said that he did. I wonder. And probably, we never know. Some of the cases that we probably talk about, he probably unalive those girls. We don't even know. It's a big possibility. Man, I should look at some of our cases that we had talked about. I want to look back into some of them. Mm-hmm. But Laura, I'm so glad that you can finally rest in peace and your family finally got the answers that they've been looking for. And I'm glad that Utah did their job and solved this case. Even though it took over 50 years, Utah, but you did it. 50 years too late, but you did it. You did it. Well, that is our case. It is a solved one, so we really could not go into theories as we wanted to, but it is recently solved. So even though it was 50 years too late for police to solve it, I'm glad that they did. And you can see that cases can be solved. Doesn't matter how long it has been. There is a possibility. Well, that's our episode. We are on all social medias and podcasts and YouTube. So please come check us out. If you want me to do a case, send it to my DMs. Comment below. I will do it. I will see you guys next week. This is Lesbian Detectives. Don't forget, everybody's a suspect.
So proven innocent.
Goodbye.
Lesbian Detectives. Unsolved cases. She's still missing. Yeah, they haven't found her yet. Well, let's talk about it.
They say he vanished without a trace. Could it be a psychotic break or a tragic accident? Police don't know where the body went. Unsolved murders, body still missing. That's unheard. Where's the witness? Lesbian detectives, what's going on? City on high alert, this out the norm. He did what, the who? Man, that ain't real, these crimes ain't true. Then come uncover these theories with us. We live right now, tuning in is a must.
Right now, Lesbian Detectives. Lesbian Detectives. We about to start the show, so get your popcorn ready, let's go. Pay attention to the message I present to you, the Lesbian Detectives.